50 cubic centimeter motorcycle that revved up to 20,000 RPM? It's not science fiction, it's the Kreidler Van Veen. A tiny but wicked engine, tuned to the millimeter to squeeze out every drop of power. While others roared, this one screamed like an angry bee and won races. Today I'm going to tell you the story of the craziest and most precise 50 cubic centimeter ever made. The bike that truly proved size doesn't inherently matter when you've got an incredibly powerful and finely tuned engine that passionately screams and roars with the intense, high-pitched precision of a Formula One racing car. It was the 1950s. Europe was rebuilding after World War II, and in the midst of the chaos, in Germany, a company called Kreidler was starting to make a name for itself. By making small, simple, and reliable motorcycles, perfect for getting around streets full of potholes and ruins. No frills. These were bikes made for the people, with engines under 50 cubic centimeters, extremely low fuel consumption, and reliability that bordered on military grade. Meanwhile, in the Netherlands, Henk van Veer couldn't get a wink of sleep. Not because of insomnia, not because of relationship problems. No, the guy couldn't sleep because he was daydreaming. He dreamed of taking those little German bikes to the top of the podium. Van Veer was the official Kreidler importer in Holland, but his mind wasn't on sales, it was on speed. And that's where, my friends, the magic was born, the fusion of German precision and Dutch passion. Kreidler brought the engineering, well-made engines, solid frames, reliable parts. Van Veer brought the hunger for competition, testing, tweaking, garage madness, and lap after lap around the track. That's how the Kreidler Van Veer racing team was born. At first, it seemed crazy. Tiny bikes with engines barely pushing past 6 horsepower. But little by little, that partnership fine-tuned the formula like a Swiss watch on steroids. They started modifying every screw, every gear ratio, every part of the fairing for one thing only: to fly around the track with just 50 cubic centimeters. And what seemed like a curiosity ended up being a revolution. Because what they achieved in that small category was so beastly, so precise, so ahead of its time, that it would change the fate of lightweight motorcycling forever. A 50 cubic centimeter bike competing against bikes with more than double the displacement? At Kreidler they said, yes, and let them tremble. And they pulled it off. Look, in the 70s, the motorcycle world was obsessed with size. 750, 900, 1000 cc, the bigger, the better. But in one corner of the paddock, some guys would show up in a van with bikes so tiny they looked like toys. And yet, they were the most dangerous of all. Yes, folks, while everyone else was looking up, Kreidler and Van Veer were looking straight ahead. And what they achieved with those 50 cubic centimeters was literally ridiculous. Single-cylinder, two-stroke engines with such a small displacement they could fit in a coffee cup. But still, they revved like a blender on high, over 20,000 revolutions per minute. Yes, you heard that right, 20,000. Even today, that's still insane for a street bike. Just so you get an idea, a modern bike revs to 11 or 12,000 RPM. These were doing double that in the 70s. Power between 17 and 20 horsepower. It might not sound like much until you remember they got that out of a 50 cubic centimeter engine. Insane. The horsepower to displacement ratio was better than a lot of modern GP bikes. Dry weight, less than 70 kilos. For those who aren't sure, that's less than a city scooter. It was like putting a race engine on a bicycle on steroids. But it wasn't all about the tech, because on top of those little beasts sat legendary riders with golden hands and nerves of steel. Jan de Vries, the Flying Dutchman. He won 2 world titles with Kreidler in 1971 and 1973 and struck fear on every straightaway. Angel Nieto, the Spanish legend. Although he later made history with Derby, he also shone on the Kreidlers. Rudolf Kunz, Hans-Georg Onscheit, Tommy Robb. The list of names that passed through Van Veer's 50 cubic centimeters is very long and glorious. And they didn't just win one championship, but several. In the 1960s, they won 3 times, and in the 1970s as well. 6 world titles, and that's not even counting the pole positions, the fastest laps, and all the times they made the Italians cry with bikes 3 times as big. And if you think they were slow bikes just because they were small, you're in for a surprise. On the straights, they often matched or even outpaced 125 cubic centimeters bikes. Their millimeter-precise aerodynamics, tight fairing, and ultra-crouched rider position made them silent bullets. On the track, they were like death mosquitoes, tiny, elusive, impossible to catch if they got away from you. David versus Goliath, but with a 6 or 7-speed gearbox and even a dry clutch. And on top of that, David came with a helmet, gloves, and a qualifying pace. Because there was that too, many of these machines had 6 or even 7-speed gearboxes to keep the engine in that ultra-narrow power band. It wasn't just about having talent. You needed surgical precision to ride them. Why was it considered to be so incredibly and uniquely special and significant? In a world where everyone was obsessed with engine size, the Kreidler Van Veen showed up to prove that power doesn't always come in big packages. This little one, 50 cubic centimeters, was a statement of principles. I don't need 200 horsepower. 20 is enough for me if I squeeze out every last drop. And that's exactly what it did. It proved that engineering, precision, and passion can beat brute force. The sound, the glorious, devilish sound. If you've ever been to a classic race or watched a well-recorded video of a Van Veen on the track, you know what I'm talking about. It wasn't just noise, it was a high-pitched, sharp, screeching howl. A metallic shriek that started low like a bee and ended up screaming like a possessed banshee when it hit 20,000 RPM. It was as unbearable as it was glorious. It shattered your eardrums, but left a smile tattooed on your face. It could reach 160 kilometers per hour. Maybe that doesn't sound like much to you. You're probably thinking, my Chinese or Indian bike could beat that. But hey, this was the 60s, a symphony of gears, tiny explosions, and barely contained madness. If you listen to it today in a well-recorded video, it gives you goosebumps. Not because it sounds loud, but because it sounds alive, as if the bike were screaming, I'm here to race, not to take a stroll. A symbol of mechanical passion. The Kreidler Van Veen wasn't a mass-produced bike like other Japanese models that came and went without anyone missing them. It was a bike built with surgical obsession. Every part was designed for racing. Every piece, every screw, every carburetor adjustment was aimed at one thing, winning races. The engines were tuned as if they were string instruments. The margin for error was so small that if you didn't do everything perfectly, it wouldn't run or it would break. But if you got it right, you had a gem in your hands. It earned respect, even from the skeptics. At first, a lot of people laughed. A 50cc? Seriously? But just one lap on the track was enough for the sarcasm to turn into respect. And at the end of the day, these were the bikes standing at the very top of the podium. The Kreidler Van Veen earned the respect of everyone, the Italians, the Japanese, the rivals, and the fans. Even those who never rode it remember it as a legend, and for good reason. It wasn't a bike that made promises, it delivered. It was David armed with a screwdriver, a carburetor, and a whole lot of attitude. It was the perfect example that glory doesn't always need gallons of gasoline. Sometimes, just a few well-used drops are enough. But all good things must come to an end. In the 80s, the 50 cubic centimeter category started to fall out of favor. The big brands moved on to 80 and then 125 cubic centimeters. Commercial interest vanished. Vanvine, for his part, wanted to carry on the legacy with something even crazier, the OCR 1000, a rotary bike with a Wankel engine, but it didn't work out. It was expensive, strange, and ahead of its time. The Kreidler Van Veen 50 disappeared from the catalogs, but not from people's hearts. Today, if you see a Kreidler Van Veen 50, you're not just looking at a cute little moped. You're looking at a legend, a bike that proved ingenuity could beat engine size. It's a collector's item, it's rare, and if you hear it running, it takes you back to a time when racing was done with heart, not algorithms. Because yes, it was only 50 cubic centimeters, but it was genuinely intimidating.